I wanted to share with you what I think is the best ground blind for those long sits. You know, hunting is a game of patience, and if you're not comfortable, you're gonna lose that patience. If you haven't heard of TideWe ground blinds by now, then you're missing out on some of the most affordable, most functional ground blinds on the market. Speaking of affordable, I can save you even more money on these ground blinds. They have a lot of styles to choose from, but I chose this one for those really long sits, and just to show you the functionality of it and how easy it is to set up, I'm just gonna set this up real quick before I get into all the highlights and why this ground blind is so awesome. If you're packing your ground blind in and out of the woods, this carrying case has the backpack style straps, and it's a really heavy duty material. So if you're going through branches and stuff, this does not rip very easily. They put a little extra thought into this. They made it a little more durable, and they made it a little bit bigger. Just makes it so much easier to get the ground blind back in the case. Once you get it out, there is a buckle here that just kind of keeps it compressed in the case, makes it easier to get in and out as well. You're going to unbuckle that and lay it nice and flat. Look for the roof panel. Right in the center of the roof, there is a pull tab on that. You're just going to make sure you come straight over top of it and lift straight up on that. That pops straight up. And then I like to just kind of lean it forward. You're going to look for that same tab on this side. And then you just kind of work your way around the ground blind to all panels. And that's it. This thing sets up so easy. So one of the first things that I love about this ground blind, if you haven't already noticed, is the size of this thing. This thing is huge. The ceiling height on the center hub is 6 foot 6 inches high. So I'm 5'10", that gives me plenty of headroom to stand up. The next thing that I love about this ground blind is the see-through mesh. So you cannot see from the outside in, but when you're inside, you can still see out. And what I love about this ground blind is the see-through mesh. It's 360 degrees around, and you get to pick which is your back panel. So it has solid walls on the inside that you can remove, and you at least want one solid wall, or else, you know, depending on where the sun is, you'd end up seeing right through it. So you want to have a solid wall to your back, which then allows you to put the door wherever you want it. I can't tell you how many times I'll set up a ground blind, brush it in, and I like to stick it up against trees, and then you can't get in the door. So this one, you can position the door wherever you want it. You can have it right here in the front, and check this out. The zipper not only goes all the way to the top, but it goes all the way across horizontally. So you can use this thing like a garage door. I just think that is so convenient. How many times are you lugging stuff into your ground blind and you keep getting hung up on the door? Backpacks on, your bow, whatever. It's sometimes, especially my camera gear, I get tripods, I get hung up like crazy. And this, it's just, oh, it makes it so easy. And like I said, just being able to put the door wherever you want it. Now, as you can see, everything here, it's solid black. You can't see out of it all. And again, that's why you can lower any panel that you want and keep one of them as your back panel. So even though that this is the door and typically you would put in the back, I can now make this the front, lower this panel right here, keep that panel up, and then lower these panels. This ground blind was really a game changer for me, because when I would sit in a ground blind and I couldn't see out of them and just leave the little slits open for the windows, you're looking around like this nonstop. I just couldn't do it. I really had a hard time sitting in a ground blind very long. So the visibility in this ground blind, it's just, it really is awesome. Things I already love about this ground blind before I even go inside of it. This door, again, just makes it so easy to get in and out when you're carrying a bunch of stuff. And, you know, sometimes you're bringing coolers for those long sits. I mean, you know, you got to be prepared. And, you know, chairs, if you're hunting with some other people. For me, I got all the camera equipment. And speaking of chairs, I'm going to add that as another element to what I think is really important for those long sits. Again, if you're not comfortable, you're gonna lose patience. And TideWe has you covered with that as well. I'll show you this chair real quick. I don't wanna get off topic on the ground blind, but I really feel like the chair is important. Again, because if you're not comfortable, it's just gonna be really hard to sit there all day. So this is one of 2 chairs that TideWe offers. It's very functional. I think it just has everything that you would want in a chair. To start carrying it in, this thing, it does fold up, has a carrying strap. These legs will unscrew here on the bottom. They fold up, and then you just attach it to the bottom. So you just throw this over your shoulder. It's not too heavy. So you got this on one shoulder, that on the other shoulder. Yeah, you're carrying a lot of stuff. And once you get everything in the ground blind, this chair is highly adjustable, which is really important when you have uneven ground. As you can see, the chair will teeter if you can't adjust it, and it really makes things uncomfortable. So this chair, down here on the bottom, there's the little push tabs here. You can just kind of match the terrain by pushing that button and letting the legs just kind of fall down. And now it doesn't wobble nearly as much. So I would come on this side, let that leg fall out. And as you can see, that is a lot sturdier. Then from here, you can adjust the height of this to just match, you know, your height to the window height. There's a knob down here. You loosen that and pull out the pin and just raise the chair, select the hole that you want it to go in, and tighten it back up. The chair spins 360 degrees. Completely quiet. The other thing that's important about leveling this chair, because the chair spins, if you don't have it level, you're gonna spin very awkwardly in it. And the really awesome feature about this version of this chair is this chair is heated. So on the side here, you have this little pocket. You put a power bank in here, plug it in, and right here on the top, there is 2 power buttons. One is gonna heat your back, and the other one's gonna heat your bottom. So you have high, medium, and low. And boy, on those cold days, I can't even begin to tell you how nice that feels. So just being warm and comfortable really helps you make it through the day. All right, so back to the ground blind features. So again, the size of this thing, I think, is the #1 reason as to why this ground blind is the best ground blind for those long sits, because I could stand up. The ceiling height here in the center is 6 foot 6 inches high. Being 5'10", I can still come back here and just touch my head here on the very edges. So I can get up, I can stretch out. I mean, heck, I could even exercise if I wanted to, and they can't see you. You can move all around in here. If you have the mesh windows closed, they can't see in. You can see out, they can't see in, and just really allows you to stay loose. You're not getting stiff sitting there, not moving all day. So you can get up, move around, and that is a huge deal. I brought a similar ground blind to Wyoming last year. Had as a different window layout, but it's the same size ground blind. And you want to talk about long sits. So you could see a pronghorn way out there, and it could take hours before they even come close enough. So we were all loaded up. I mean, I had coolers in there. We had the 2 chairs. I had a friend of mine filming me. So, you know, I had tripods, all my archery equipment, backpacks, and just having all this room really helps you stay comfortable and sit it out. So this pronghorn is coming across, and I was able to pick up my bow. Once he got to us, he was 15 yards from the ground blind. I was able to draw my bow. He couldn't see me, he couldn't smell me, so it allowed me to anchor in, dial that pin in, and make a perfect shot. So the see-through mesh is absolute key for me. I'm not bobbing and weaving trying to look through the little openings in the windows. So that right there prevents me from getting tired and just not wanting to sit there. And also, things are coming from the side of you. You don't want all the windows open, because if they see through it, they can see movement. So you can leave those closed and you can see out, they can't see in. But if you do have to make a shot, these windows are on these silent sliders. So you can open and close these perfectly quiet and adjust it to how you need to make your shot. The see-through mesh also cuts down on sun and absolutely the wind. The material is made up of a heavy-duty polyester Oxford fabric, so it does hold the heat. I believe it holds your scent. It blocks the wind. It's just a thicker, heavier material that's going to withstand some abuse. My son used a compound bow for the very first time last year, and on opening day, we had this big old doe coming in, and he made some noise trying to pick up his bow. That doe tried to look long and hard at the ground blind to figure out what that noise was. We had the window already open so he could shoot out the front, and that deer could not see us in that ground blind. So even though she heard him, she could not figure out what it was. He was still able to draw his bow, wait until she turned and gave him slightly quartering away shot, and he made a perfect shot. Yeah. So these ground blinds, I think, are exceptionally good for hunting with kids. You know, he was able to shoot standing up, so his form wasn't compromised. You know, we practiced all summer long standing up, so I didn't really want him sitting in a chair trying to shoot. You know, if you have young kids, you know, they can crawl around, do whatever the kids do, play in the dirt, and they're not going to be seen. They can still see out, be a part of the hunt. As they're moving around, nothing can see them, and I think it just makes a good experience for kids as well. If kids can't move around, they get impatient and you end up having to leave the woods early. But me personally, nothing gets me out of the woods faster than getting wet. And again, this ground blind, you're not going to get wet in it, mostly because of my camera gear. I can't let that stuff get wet. I'm able to jump in a ground blind and I can sit there as long as I need to. And let me go back to the importance of these windows real quick, just because I can't stress it enough. Being quiet, you can open these. And what I love about this one, where I think my shot is going to be, I always let the window open at that spot, just so I don't have to adjust it if something's coming in. I want the windows to be open as small as possible, because again, I can see through the mesh and it just cuts down on your movement. If I'm using a bow, I'm probably going to fold this over a little bit, and I just want to make sure I have enough clearance for my arrow. You don't want to deflect off of this. If you're using a shotgun for turkeys or something, you can have that really thin. And what I like about this window style is I can just kind of lower the side here. If I think that my shot is going to be really out this front panel, I can have this open a lot more than the side. I can kind of have it run on an angle, because you want to cut down as much light as possible in here. The darker you can make it inside here, the better off you're going to be. And again, if you wear black, they're just not going to see you. And that's why this blind is my favorite version, because there might be two panels, maybe my back panel and here on the side. Maybe I don't have a shot here at all anyways. I can close this up and still be completely black here and have a completely black wall here. So it's just extra dark in here. And I love having the ability to pick which panel I want to black out. So if you're on a hunt that you need to pull all day sits, consider this ground blind. I'm telling you, I honestly think that this is one of the best ground blinds I've ever used. I do want to take you outside and show you some of the other features it has there as well. And another important feature, in my opinion, that this ground blind has is the brush loops. So you're going to want to brush this into your surroundings just by sticking branches, grass, whatever is in your surrounding territory. I'm in these pines, so I would cut some pine branches, and there's also down here kind of on the middle, and you can stick that in. I'll stick them up over the windows a little bit, so when you do have them open, it kind of creates like a black hole. So you want to kind of cover that black hole. I'll hang grass, down over from the top here. So the brush loops, I think, is a really, really important feature. And going back to the door, I showed you how this door opens. But the neat thing is, it's a long zipper. I mean, you go all the way across, all the way down. And as you know, zippers can be pretty loud. So they put some thought into that. Once you're in here and you close the door, it's magnetic. There's a little magnetic tab here and here. You just put those together. There's magnets here on the side, and then there's also this loop. So you're just gonna hook it here and here, and that's gonna hold your door closed. So you just clip that together like that, then work your way up the ground blind and find the matching magnets and just close that up the best you can. And then when nature calls, you can undo all this and you can enter and exit this ground blind perfectly quiet. So nothing can hear you going in or out of this ground blind. You don't need to zipper it. I think that is another very important feature. And did I mention how awesome this door is? Well, I hope that was informative and made your decision making a little easier when you're trying to decide on a ground blind when you know you're sitting hours on end. I'll have links in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching.